Hey guys, welcome back to Sense or Sense. My name's Evan, and today I decided I wanted to go live for the holidays. I wanted to wish you and your family happy holidays, and I wanted to thank you guys for actually subscribing to the channel, supporting me over the last several months. I started this journey back in April of this year, and I didn't have any intentions of it getting massive, and it hasn't yet. But I'm hoping that over the next several months, I can bring you guys some interesting information that no one else seems to be covering a whole lot of on YouTube, and that includes my recent Fidelity. All of the different information I've pulled from Fidelity with regards to their hold on the accounts and the cash and all of the different deposits that have been being held over there. I think it's a big issue that they have going on, and I hope that they can resolve it. But ultimately, I wanted to get on here and thank you guys individually for supporting the channel, liking, subscribing, commenting, and I just wanted to see if I could get anybody on here and talk to them. I'm willing to take any kind of discussions and talk with anybody over the next, say, 15 minutes, and we can maybe get at least one or two people to come in and talk about something. I'm going to try to do these more often just because, and I'll schedule them in the future, but I wanted to try this out. This is mainly kind of a test to tell everybody happy holidays as well as thank you, and then to see if I would get any interest at all in anybody coming on to the live chat. But ultimately, what I wanted to do was just have these kind of be a free-for-all with people in the future where we can talk about topics that interest you. Maybe give me some ideas for some videos, or if you have some comments or questions that are more detailed from videos that I've made recently, that will also work as well. So I'm just going to kind of sit back and take any questions. I see that no one's hopped online yet, which doesn't surprise me all that much. This, like I said, this is more of a test, but I wanted to open this up and see if anybody's interested in me doing this in the near future. So I have a lot of stuff going on in the next several months. I'm actually going to share a little bit about some things that I've done. I've talked about in previous videos, some redemptions that I've done for Paris as well as Fiji over the next, say, 9 months or so. I'm taking my wife on our 10th anniversary to Paris next month, and then we are going as a family in July and August to Fiji. Dallas just got a nonstop on Fijian Air from Dallas to Fiji starting actually December 10th. So coming up in a few days, actually. And it's a almost 15-hour flight. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But I managed to get us business class seats for a reasonable redemption. And I managed to also get the Air France flights in January for a reasonable redemption as well. So that's also pretty exciting. I've used probably close to 500,000 points between those two redemptions over the last, 6 months. I'm fortunate enough to be able to rack up a good amount of points each year between my business, my wife's business, and our personal spend. So that's been interesting to see. But as of right now, I don't have any other plans for the remainder of 2025 as far as travel plans go. But I hope to get some good redemptions towards the beginning to middle part of 2025 using a bunch of points that I have. I finally accumulated a bunch more Chase UR points, which are highly valuable for Hyatt. And I used almost all my Chase UR points on my Hyatt redemption for my stay in Paris coming up next month. So I'm interested in hear what kind of redemptions you guys might have, actually. But ultimately, I am just in the accumulation phase right now. I used probably over the last year, I've used about 800,000 points, I think, for hotels and as well as flights for my family and for my wife. So I've used a lot of points. I think I've got about twice as many points as I've used in the last year, but I plan on doing some big redemptions going into 2026 that will probably end up using huge number of my points, possibly 1,000,000 points in one major redemption. I'm trying to get my family to Namibia or South Africa or a combination of both for the summer of 2026, and that will probably be QR. It'll probably be Qatari Airways through their Q Suites or Etihad or Emirates, one of those. But the redemptions are crazy expensive most of the time, unless you can score some Q Suites. So through American Airlines. So I'm willing to pay pretty good number of points, because usually those flights on business class to Africa range anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000 per person, and there's just no way I'd spend that kind of money on an actual flight. Even coach flights are sometimes as much as $3,000 or $4,000. So I will be looking to book that at some point in 2025 for a 2026 departure. I'm also hoping that my father-in-law lives up to his expectations and gets us a trip to Oktoberfest in Germany at some point in the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe I will be able to use some points to get there. Although he has offered to pay for a majority of the trip, I don't think he has an understanding of how expensive it will really be. So at any rate, that's what I want to talk about with travel. With finance, the markets sure are crazy after the election. I would be very leery going into 2025. I'm skipping ahead of here. 2025 with regards to the markets. Yes, there's going to be less regulation. There's going to be probably a more lax SEC and Federal Reserve in some regards, but I feel like the markets are so far extended to the upside that it's crazy to think that we're up so much in the last 2 years. We're going to have a pullback at some point. And so what I would just say is, don't jump out at anything, but I would tell you guys to just be cautious. I wouldn't be putting anywhere near as much money in the markets as I have been over the last 3 to 5 years. I'd probably be putting more of my new money towards bond-related investments and preferred stocks, things like that have been beaten up. REITs have been beaten up greatly. And I think we're going to see a shift back to people going to back to the office. We're already seeing that, but I'm saying I think it's going to be even greater in 2025. And I think the REITs are going to recover pretty nicely as interest rates are starting to come down. People will start getting interested in purchasing REITs for that ability to ultimately get a good rate of return on their investment, where they can't get it in a lot of other places that they have been able to in the last couple of years. So, as interest rates come down, we're going to see short-term rates probably go to 3.5% to 4% would be my guess. REITs are going to be paying at that point be very attractive, because a lot of them pay 4, 5, 6, even 7% interest as well, or dividends, as well as have the potential for capital appreciation. And I think that's a big thing for you to look into in your overall investment portfolio. If you don't have access to, if you don't have REITs in your portfolio, you need to add them now and into 2025. They have been beaten up so badly, and they have underperformed so much over the last several years that they tend to outperform the overall stock market over time. So isn't that crazy to think that ultimately they've been beaten up? They pay really well. We have seen nothing but residential real estate go up in value. We've seen the home builders go up in value. The commercial real estate, I think, is next to come. It will be slow. It will be painful for a while, but I think it's something that needs to happen in this country. I think we're going to see people return to the office. I think businesses are going to require people to go back to the offices full time. We're already seeing it with companies like Amazon. I have a buddy of mine that works in Austin. Shout out to you, Andrew, if you're going to get on this call or not. But he's told me that they're back in the office full time now, 5 days a week. And that's a big change even over just this time last year. So I think that the commercial side of real estate investments will come back. They'll come back slowly, but in the meantime, you're going to collect a good dividend. And as interest rates go down, it's going to be more important to diversify into things that have higher dividends for you to be able to continue the gravy train, so to speak, on being able to make good money in the markets. I think also, if you look at longer term bonds, we will probably see longer term bonds hold steady for a while until we understand what the tariffs and things like that are going to be doing. But ultimately, longer term bonds are going to ultimately go up in price, and the yield is going to go down. They're going to have to. With this interest rate regime that we're in right now, we're going to see some significant reduction in interest rates over the next year. And I think that we're going to ultimately have the ability to buy some bonds again. I've been buying them very slowly. I've been buying them very meticulously, just adding in a little bit each month. And ultimately, they haven't performed very well so far, but I stand behind them going into 2025. I think that they'll be a relatively good safe haven if the markets come down. I think REITs plus the bond combination and, sticking it out with some of the larger cap stocks will do really well into 2025. So that's what I think is going to be happening. And that's kind of what I wanted to say to you guys today. I wanted to be on here for about 15 minutes total time, and we're getting up close to that time at this point. But I wanted to let you guys know that I wish you happy holidays. I appreciate the support. I enjoy coming to you with new videos, and I hope to see more of you in the future. I'll schedule a live chat sometime in the next month or so, and maybe I can get a few people to show up. I had one person briefly show up here today, but I guess they popped off. But thank you guys again, and we will see what the channel can do into 2025. Happy New Year if I don't see you before then on a live chat. Thanks.